Hi, my name is Chris and I'm from Zimbabwe. I grew up in the rural areas of Shurugwi, and there we worship the ancestors. And ancestral worship is where you worship your father. When he dies, he becomes your God. I lost my father when I was just 3 years old, and my mother was chased away from the village because she was accused for being a witch. So I never saw my mother for 14 consecutive years. And I saw my mother again 14 years later, but this time she was dead in a coffin. And from there I began to ask myself some questions. Where are you, God, when it hurts? When I got to the University of Zimbabwe, I met guys from Campus Crusade for Christ. They shared the gospel with me. And then I accepted the Lord as my Lord and personal Savior. From there I walked with God. And when I walked with God and got to know Jesus personally, there was a fire that was born inside of me. And then God gave me a vision soon after completing the university degree program. I joined Crusade as a full-time missionary. And after joining Crusade, I got the vision to go and help transform the world around my country of Zimbabwe. And we got the vision of reconciling communities because this was the time when Zimbabwe was going through a lot of political crisis as well as social and economic crisis. People were killing each other in the villages. But after negotiation with some government officials, we managed to go to one of the rural areas, one of the 64 districts in the country, shared the gospel there. We founded out 134 soccer teams and 64 netball teams in that one district. We had a big tournament where 5,000 people were gathered all together. After all the games, in the final day, because our agenda was centered around reuniting these communities, we said to the 30 teams that came to the playoffs, bring about one soccer team that can play against us as athletes in action. The whole community was shouting, celebrating when their team scores. Unity was being brought about by the aspect of sport. And in that huge emotion, we said to the people, this is the time for us to reunite. We are the same people. Let us love one another with the love of Christ, as Christ loves us. And let us bring the agenda for love to another level. The vision grew, and many Campus Crusade for Christ strategies that we work with, humanitarian guys, campus ministry guys, the Jesus Film guys, infiltrated into this area, built movements in this area, preached the gospel, and a lot of people came to the knowledge of the Lord. Churches were planted, and people are growing in their faith every day. This vision was taken to another level by one of the members of parliament taking the vision upon his shoulders, sharing to the other members of parliament, saying, guys, your communities can be changed by what Athletes in Action did in my community. And before we knew it, there were movements everywhere because a lot of government organization and a lot of members of parliament were calling us to say, come to our societies, come to our villages, come to our communities and help change those communities. And we said, God, we are ready for this. We went to 6 of the 64 districts so far, did the same gospel preaching to thousands and thousands of people, connected them to churches, built boreholes in their areas, met their humanitarian needs. And as we do this, we are preaching the gospel everywhere. And we want every corner of Zimbabwe to be reached. There are 58 to go. And we believe that coming together is the beginning point. Working together is progress. And achieving together is glorious. We so much believe that none of us is better than all of us. We cannot go between the mountains of Zimbabwe alone. We need you to be with us. We need you to help the people in the rural areas there. As we go, we need you to partner with us. Let us go together. This is the work that God has given us. And who knows, maybe this vision will not die in Zimbabwe. It will grow to go to Zambia. It will go to Botswana. It will go to Mozambique. And maybe in a few years' time, it will infiltrate the rural areas of Ethiopia. And it will go to Asia. And ultimately, it will reach out the whole world. Come, let us help change the world. Thank you.